Alright, welcome back, guys, to the weekly recap. We've got myself tonight, Jacob, our DM, Abby, who plays Thea, and Zach, who is our host, and also our conversation starter. Um, Tonight, we've got another kind of just all-around episode. We had our characters really just kind of finishing up, for the most part, what they want to do before we all get back together as a group, and jump into what kind of like is gonna turn into the climax, the rising action of our story, of our mainline story at
What
least.
a film nerd.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm gonna go ahead and do the recap, and then we'll have a little bit of conversation afterwards. To start off, we all were. Myself and Zygon had just teleported back to Thea, who was eating dinner with Anzu. They were having a nice steak and some wine. As we teleported in, Zygon walked off and he went to be with his wife. And Brady also wasn't part of this episode. He had some stuff going on, so as well as Corey, he was not part of this episode. So Zygon went off and he's with his wife for this episode, but we never really see what happens with them. We'll probably see that in the next episode. Animas just tells Thea and Anzu, hey, we need to talk in the morning, but you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And then everyone kind of goes to sleep. Did Anzu go and do his thing before sleep, or? Okay.
Well, no.
It was the morning,
I don't
wasn't it?
remember for sure. I think he did in the morning.
It's not a huge deal. Let's just say everyone went to sleep. I'm a little blurred on that part, but everyone for the most part we went to sleep that night. Bron and the dragon child both kind of had a little bit longer and hanging out and figuring out like the dragon child's going to end up going to the Platinum Sanctuary and kind of learning how to be hopefully lawfully good. That's the best case scenario with that situation. They can really have no mortal impact on themselves when it comes to their personality and stuff, because humans are at the end of the day immoral and imperfect, and it would kind of ruin what this child would become. So yeah, they've been kind of hanging out, finishing up their little play date day, getting prepared for him to go to the them to go to the sanctuary. We all go to sleep. Thea spends the night with Zan, who is the waitress from dinner.
Pink tiefling.
And
very fun.
A couple doors down, the tortoise or the turtle. What's his name?
How could you? It's so simple.
Oh, Sheldon.
There you go.
Sheldon, the fourth or fifth, whatever. The fourth and Lochnar were having a night of debauchery and drinking. At the time Anzu decided to walk in, I don't know who's in their right mind hears noises like that in a room and banging and decides, I'm going to walk into that room. But, Anzu goes ahead and does it.
Anzu's a special case.
He is. He walked in and they were just getting massages at the time. One of those happy ending massages, but the happy ending hadn't come yet. I don't know.
No.
But
no.
moving
on.
On.
A deep tissue massage.
Moving on from there.
You're implying things that were not implied.
Yeah, they were just getting a deep tissue massage at the time. We don't know what else happened in that room because Anzu didn't stick around to find out. Everyone else kind of just went to sleep though. In the morning, Animas, Thea, and for the most part the rest of the group, minus Saigon and maybe minus Lochnar, he might have been passed out from the night before still. But we all had a conversation that morning about basically what Animas and Zygon had seen in Whitestone. Just a little update on that. We did talk about this last week, but basically we talked about how Vesper is somehow included in whether she knows it or not. She is part of the government coup / government drama that is currently going on in Taldore. And so I kind of explained that to them. We also talked about how, like, what we need to do, where we should go first. Of course, Western is still our main target. I think that for the most part, just everything that happened in the last recap, that's what I relayed the information. So if you guys don't know about that, go back to the last recap and check that out. After that, Anzu decided to go off and continue practicing disintegration. Once again, I don't know if this was actually before he went to sleep or after he woke up, but he went and practiced disintegration and ended up having a displacer beast come out and start attacking him. He was able to go into his little Lehman's tiny hut, and then 3 figures came out and helped him out, and they all started fighting with the displacer beast. The main figure being a paladin. What was the race, Jacob?
He's a human.
Human paladin, and then I think a sorcerer.
A drow, rogue, and a dwarf, sorcerer.
Yeah, dwarf, sorcerer, drow, rogue. That's the 3. They fight off the displacer beast, and they actually chase it into the woods. Anzu's left there, a little confused because they are interesting characters, but he comes back to town. Thia and Animas also have their own conversation. They were left to eat breakfast together, and kind of they were talking about everything that kind of Animas had been thinking about after he had now just gone into the Raven's Crest and talked to the Raven Queen for the first time since he was pretty much a baby or toddler or whatever you want to call a baby Kenku, but a birdling, I don't know.
A baby bird.
Just a baby bird. Barely left the nest.
A chick.
But yeah, so he talks to her about that, and they kind of have a conversation about overall just the path that Animus has taken and wants to take, and then a few other things that we're going to talk about in the recap in a few minutes. Me and Abby can get into that since we're both here. Let me also check. We ended off that conversation talking about how there's a lot of distrust when it and Animus's main point like why he hasn't prayed to the Moonweaver is because when he was in Shadowfell, of course not the Moonweaver, the Raven Queen.
I was like,
when he was in Shadowfell, he prayed to her, then he prayed to Asmodeus, and then when he came out into the mortal world, he realized how screwy some of these can be. I mean, the Raven Queen isn't exactly a good god for the most part. She's pretty tricky.
She's kind of neutral.
She's very neutral.
Yeah, she's not
bad.
No, not bad, not good. She's not one that she's not the most trustworthy unless you're doing things her way. As all gods pretty much are, even the good ones. But yeah, that was one of the things he didn't really trust about gods, so he hasn't ever prayed to one since he got to the material realm. And Thea, now coming off of just maybe a week and a little bit out of her whole situation, being taken by a demon in the temple who ended up being like the ex-boyfriend or whatever of the Moonweaver, or ex-lover.
A little complicated.
Ex-lover, I should say. Of the
Narganize.
Moonweaver. Yeah. She is now not on the best terms with the Moonweaver as well, just because there was a lot the Moonweaver should have probably told her, knowing as much as she does. But both of us left that conversation kind of thinking maybe we need to try to get back on good terms. With Animus, it's with a lot of things. It's just his whole path and how he does things. With Thea, it's trying to kind of figure out what kind of relationship she's going to have going back into the Moonweaver, I guess. It'll be a different one for sure. It's not going to be the same as it was. That doesn't mean it's going to be worse. That doesn't mean it's going to be better, but it could go either way. And then I think... and then Bron and Anzu went in and saw Frederick again. They went shopping for a while. Anzu... we talked a little bit about this, but we're going to talk... I'm bringing it up tonight. Anzu asked for something that was beyond powerful from
Ridiculous.
Frederick. He pretty much asked for something that would literally be able to just instantly tell someone, hey, go kill this person for me, and they'll go kill that person for me. There's no saves, nothing like that. Like, he was like, oh, it only needs to be a one-time use.
Or did he want, like, something to make someone, like, kill themselves?
No, he wanted someone...
He wanted something that would give him full control over something.
Over a person,
basically.
and then he wanted... Pretty much, it was a use to get him to kill someone. So that was the whole...
Oh, there are spells that can do that.
There's, like, command and, like, simple spells. There's a
Dominate person,
Yep.
Gaius.
Yeah. There's some big stuff that
I can do them.
Yeah, that you could do, but
But they have saves associated with them.
He wanted a godlike
and
power.
They're limited
Yeah,
in scope.
he really doesn't like to be limited for some reason. And I'm like, that's the fun of the game,
Yep.
is the struggle. I don't really understand.
And that's
And
the
you guys
conversation.
have gotten to a point where you have so much money and you're basically able to go wherever you want now.
That is the conversation we'll get into. I don't know what Bron looked for. I'm not gonna lie, no idea. He was also in there, looked around for stuff. I don't think either of them ended up buying.
I think he just went in, like, Bron just wanted to kind of chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, a couple people stocked up on some healing potions and some other basic equipment. End of the episode ended up being Thea going
I
off.
was just trying to go about my day.
She was just going off on her own.
I just wanted to get a new outfit.
you know,
Mine's a little ratty.
We've had a lot of fights. There's some holes in her cloak, and
I almost got murdered.
she almost died. It was the same guy that brought Zygon down to 0 health after the battle.
Almost killed him.
At the end of chapter 1, it was literally Zygon was making 3 death saves and barely made his 3rd death save as a success. Somehow woke up and, like, wandered back to us. Same
like
person
a giant,
as
like stem to stern.
Yeah.
Cut on his chest.
And that was the same guy who Thea saw on the streets, and the guy just started cutting people down. I guess he
killed 3 guards.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
Instantly killed them. That's not something we want to deal with. Thea somehow teleported away. Just so close. Just so close. The globestones are like, they're so helpful, you know? And I don't think they're overpowered. I think they're the perfect use.
Well, the perfect nerf to the globestones is that you guys don't remember you have them like 9 out of 10 times.
Literally, beautiful. I did so much shit before. I was like, oh, I can just leave.
It is. It's the best thing.
I think it's because I put you guys in stressful situations, and you're like, what do I do?
But, like, also my instinct isn't just teleport away. I'm like, there are other things I can do that are more interesting to at least, like, attempt to, like, fight it and, like, see what I can do. Yeah. And then I was like, oh no, there's nothing I can or should do right now. This is a mess. I need to get out of here.
Yeah. So she teleports to Anzu.
Yeah.
Barely. The guy almost cut her arm off. It was milliseconds away from the guy cutting off the arm that she had the glowstone in. We know the guy's after Bron, which means he's either trying to take out Bron's group one by one, or he's just trying to get to Bron, and he was going to torture the information out of Thea in some way.
I think he was just going to kill me, though.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he would have killed you whether he tortured you or not. He was going to kill you in the end. He has a little compass that shows exactly where Thea's location is, and he's following that. Not what you want to see, you know. Let's go ahead and get into the conversations, though.
Good stuff.
Yep. So we're gonna rewind a little bit. A detail we didn't quite mention during the little recap there. When Bron was out on his little adventure during the night, he came across a glass weapon forger person. I guess, Jacob, can you go into detail about that?
Yeah, so I want to start integrating Drow more because I love Drow. I think they're one of the most interesting races in D&D.
They're very cool.
Yeah, they're elves, but like goth. Anyway, so elves and Drow have like different forging techniques, and I was wanting to kind of show that, and I know that Bron would be curious with that, and it was really a chance encounter. Like I rolled percentage dice, and I did a high-low, and I was like, okay, high-low. If this is low, then he's not gonna know anything about this, and if it's high, I'm gonna see what he does here. I was fully expecting him to just be like, okay, you need to tell me what's going on, but I always read Michael a little wrong to this stuff. He didn't press, which I think any other person in the group would have been like, you're gonna tell me what this is, and I want to know right now. But Michael, a little more subdued, a little bit more, I guess, calculated in that manner. So we'll figure it out eventually. I love that he's trying to figure out how to unlock those pages, though, because, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a really simple solution.
Anzu used knock on the pages?
Yeah, well, because it's supposed to open arcane locks.
Yeah, that does work, I guess.
But Frederick gave Bron a really good hint, and he misinterpreted it. Which I think is hilarious.
What? What was the hint?
The hint was Underdark. And Bron thinks that it means
during
under
the dark.
moon.
Yeah. So
it doesn't. It means
literally
the literal
go to
Underdark.
the Underdark.
I want to go to the Underdark.
So so we're bringing up the Underdark. So those for the people who don't know, essentially in D&D world, you have all the people that live on the surface of the planet that they're on. So you got your Waterdeeps, your Ravenloft, all blah 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 blah. In Tal'Dorei also, Iman, blah blah. So underneath that, there is literally an entire structural system, like an entire world underneath, called the Underdark. It's a giant network of caves that makes up the majority of the world.
Just different creatures too. A ton of different creatures that you won't see over worlds.
That's where a lot of like the eldritch horror sort of monsters come from. Like that's where Umber Hulks are usually found. Bullets are usually found down there, which I've used those interchangeably in more like mountainous regions because there's not a ton of.
They can.
Yeah, and they're there. But the Underdark has the Drow, which are dark elves, and the Duragar, which are the dark dwarves.
There's also dark gnomes.
There's also gnomes,
but they're not as common.
They're not as common. Yeah.
I forget what they're called, but they're just like they're weird.
It's like it's another D name. I think they're all.
I'll look
D
it up.
names.
You keep going.
But the Underdark is a super interesting thing because they have their own language, their own society, their own gods, like everything.
They're called deep gnomes. Or
that's boring.
Sverneblin.
Yeah, that's boring. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe you guys will have to go into the Underdark for something.
Sverfneblin. Gosh.
I would love to do something in the Underdark because the Underdark is super interesting.
I forget. I think it was just I think it was just Abby and Hunter who played. I was gonna say Thia and Anzu were in my baby campaign or my one shot.
Oh yeah, your one shot.
Yeah, I did a one shot a little while back, introducing what is possibly the startings of my world building for a world if I do the next campaign. But they did a little journey into the Underdark and saved a dude and stuff. So.
But yeah, to go back to your original question, Zach, I kind of want to introduce Bron to different forging techniques to kind of see what he does, because I think that's going to be his ultimate own goal, is to make his own weapons. And so, like, I know how I want Michael to play it, so I'm allowing him space. I'm giving him it's like a buffet that Bron cannot eat because he's cursed. But, you know.
He is cursed.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
So, while Anzu was out on his little adventure where we came across the group with the paladin and all of them, I guess, Jacob, do we know, I guess, what they're going to do? Are they going to be part of the story a little bit more?
I mean, one thing that I always find interesting about D&D is that you're the one adventuring group in the entire world. Usually it's like, you guys are adventurers. It's like, no, there's there's an entire world around you. So they might show up here and there. They're a local trio that are around Vasselheim that do work, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. They might pick up new members. Who knows? What I thought was interesting is Anzu did not ask them anything about themselves,
Yeah.
like at all.
He doesn't care.
He
No.
doesn't care, which I think is hilarious. But also, like, what I find interesting is Anzu's like, I want to get guild members, and then there's 3 new people who clearly are very powerful that want work, and he's like,
doesn't talk to them.
I found that funny. I actually think that's really funny for Anzu's character.
He just
where,
misses the signs completely.
Yeah, he's so oblivious to the world around him, and he's so focused on his own research that he forgets stuff. And I don't know. I think that's funny. I don't know if Hunter's intentionally doing that, but
I don't think he's
it's a fun
intentional. I think
character
he just
quirk.
didn't think of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, that happens to all of you. Like,
No, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't do a fucking like a puzzle to do, like to save my life. But you know,
guys, I have really bad news for you. There's gonna be a lot of puzzles.
I can,
soon.
Jacob. I can do it. All right, it'll be
Uh-huh.
fine.
What I'm
I-
actually thinking about doing is designing puzzles and mailing them to you guys, and you actually like have them.
Fuck me.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be
I
insane.
think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that.
It'd be
And, like,
fun.
everybody else,
I
like, can
don't
kinda
check my
deliver, too.
mail. I'm just letting
Well-
you know right now.
Abby, I'll just come to your place and be like, don't open this until stream.
Can it just be
Works
a
for me.
jigsaw puzzle? Because I can just do that, set it up before the stream, and then just kind of show everyone, hey, I did the jigsaw puzzle.
Like, guys, look, I did it.
It's
No,
boring,
it'll,
Caleb.
it'll be
Use
like
your
number
brain.
puzzles, and like I'm gonna make ciphers.
Can I do
and,
some
like,
Sudoku?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Sudoku. I love Sudoku.
That'd actually be
Sudoku.
really fun to like figure out number placement. Yeah, I'll.
That'd be a
I'm
lot,
gonna
though.
design some puzzle. I'm gonna design some puzzle.
Okay.
And then I'll get them to you guys. But now that most of you are in the same place I'm in, it'll be a lot easier to do that. Caleb's basically the outlier,
And,
and
Hunter.
Hunter. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
I don't
Okay,
know,
just
like
Move back.
getting it to you two is gonna be the pain because I don't want to have to rely on the postal.
I come
service
down
to-
there enough.
It's doing really well, actually. I got
Well,
some
no, I'm not
packages.
saying like boo postal service. I'm just saying like
He'd
the
have to send
time
it
and,
out.
like,
and
yeah, I'd have to. I'm just worried it wouldn't get there on time sometimes.
Yeah.
just
I'd probably
you
just
should
be
just
like-
make one for me and Hunter that you can send until and
Send
like,
over email, yeah.
or something. All right,
Yeah, that's
we're
what
gonna
I'm
off.
But yeah, so that's something to look forward to in the future, hopefully.
I'm interested in doing that.
All right, final question from me. Thea and Animas had a big long conversation toward the end of the episode. I think you guys had a couple more talking points that you wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Anything specific you wanted to talk about, Caleb?
Just going over what I wrote here. Not entire. I want to kind of hear what you have to say first, and then I'll just add on to your points.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we keep having these weird little existential conversations, and I'm not really sure like why, but it's nice because character interaction, which is fun. It's just interesting to see like how different like our characters are, because I think when we first started playing, our characters interacted a lot, and we were like a little bit closer. Like I would say like Thea initially was like closer to Animas than she was with anybody, because like she was just like, this guy seems smart.
Way
I
back
don't know,
in the day.
way like before
That
we
was when we
played in the like
sat-
basement.
Oh my gosh. Those
And
were the days.
now like I can see like Thea's kind of become her own person, and she's like, my opinions are gonna differ now. I'm gonna call you out on some bullshit that I think is, or just anything I think is bullshit, and not necessarily that you're like what anything you're saying is bullshit, but
Most of it is.
she's kind of like hardening a little bit to the world around her. She's a little frustrated, and I don't know, she's not gonna like mince words anymore just to like make someone feel better.
One thing that I find interesting about Thea's arc right now is like when we started, you were like, I really don't know why she's doing any of this, and she's just kind of doing it to do it, and just wants a thing in life. And now it's like, why am I doing this? It's so interesting. Like she's about to have this like, I feel like especially now that she's almost been assassinated, she's like
She's
having this
done
existential crisis of like, why am I doing this?
some
Literally.
solid character growth.
I think it's interesting because like she went from being aimless to not being aimless, but now being like, why? What's the purpose of this?
That was kind of your original
and
backstory
and-
that you told us too. Was Thea was just
I'm
like,
looking for an adventure.
she was like, I'm just kind of
She was
like,
kind of naive, which I thought was interesting, and like I think Thea has been naive, and like as the adventure's gone on, she's like you said, Abby, like she's gotten a little bit more hard.
she's become one of the more mentally strong of the group, even though she's in a dark place at this moment.
She has her convictions, and like there are a few things I feel like she knows to be true about like the way things are, and that's demons bad. That's the main thing.
Demons bad, everything else bad, life bad.
Some stuff too much. Maybe be humble and understand that there are some things that are a little bit too big for you to just be messing with.
Yeah.
Even though like I don't feel like necessarily we're meddling at this point. But things are pointing that like this is our job to fix, and we're gonna play a key role. But she's just like, I'm not gonna mess in things I don't understand, and I'm gonna keep my involvement to a minimum.
See, that's another thing that like Thea's having to go through, where it's like, what's the point of being here? And at this point, if I leave, then I'm like abandoning these people.
Yeah, we're too big apart.
This job.
But also, like, she's confused as to like why her.
Yeah,
like, why
exactly.
is she? Like, why do I need to be like a savior?
Yeah,
I think it's super interesting.
Imposter syndrome to the max.
I think Thea's about to have her hook though. I think I'm about to get her hook. And be like,
what does that mean?
Another one? Because she's had a couple. I just want to put that out.
And then.
Cause I like haven't. I don't know like what my like actual like if I were because like Hunter had like an arc and that made sense. Like it was about Hunter and like obviously like we all had stuff here and there. But like, I just can't imagine what mine would be. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone's had a major arc after Hunter. Because we've
had
I mean
you had
arcs.
you had a little thing.
I think the Tabitha thing was a group arc.
It was, but like I mean it's still like focused kind of heavily on like you.
Yeah, on the Baylor. That was the first
what
name
I will
for the
say
Baylor,
is that when I was first conceptualizing this, I was planning on each character kind of having like a solid like 10 episodes where like they're the main.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've transitioned into this and we're playing more and the group dynamic is developing, I feel like the reason it feels like no one's had an arc is because everyone's so integrated with each other now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
arcs will be here
and I will
there.
say,
Arcs.
if you guys go to Singorn, Thea is the main character while you guys are there.
I want to go to Singorn. Animus has been
I mean,
pushing.
like, Abby does, Thea does not.
Animus is pushing it because he sees Thea, and like he after like a lot of just knowing Thea for so long, and it's not like, I mean, it's like what Abby was just talking about. Like Thea and Animus, for the most part, they've understood kind of things about each other since the very beginning more than anyone else. That doesn't mean we've been close the whole time, because we've definitely had our ins and outs of trusting and all that. More on other people not trusting Animus, but at the same time, like I've like Animus is also he's a smart guy. He knows elves are a very good race to have on your side, because their culture just is it's very. I mean, if you've seen any movie ever that has elves in it, that's pretty much how high fantasy elves work. Is like Lord of the Rings. Yep. Lord of the Rings is the best example.
It's the creator. It's the progenitor.
Yep, that would be the best example. Anything in D&D, there's a lot of animes that have elves that do the same high fantasy stuff. I know there's a couple shows on Netflix that do the same kind of like Netflix.
What we're saying is that elves are tropey
to be what they are, and Animus wants to go back to Singorn or go to Singorn to try to make this alliance and kind of be able to hopefully have someone on our side, because we have no governments on our side, and currently Mathis is... Thea talked to Mathis a little bit in this episode. I totally forgot to say that. Just to kind of
and
warn
he was
him.
like, I already know. Leave me alone.
Well,
Not leave me.
I don't know if
he's
he
like,
knows.
I'm working
What
on
I
it.
thought was interesting. What I thought was interesting is like you guys were like, we gotta warn Mathis, and it's like Mathis was the one that told you guys what was going on there.
Exactly, and I was like, we should check in with him for sure, but like,
Well, I didn't know if he knew what was happening in Whitestone. Or Animus didn't know if he knew what was happening in Whitestone.
I think he knows everything.
He also told you something about that. Yeah, he's the spy master of Amon.
I know.
Like, it's his entire job to know.
I'd rather tell him than not, and then he gets killed or something. And
yeah, and I mean, like, I understand like wanting to keep in touch, but I wasn't gonna be like, get out of there. Like, I was like, I just want to know. I want to make sure you're all right. If we can be of any help, like, let us know.
That's a fair point. I forgot to touch on something that you said a couple minutes ago. You said Thea, like, there was a point where you were like, Thea, one of the biggest things Thea knows, like, you were like, demon's bad. And this kind of goes along with, once again, Animus and Thea's endless up and down relationship. Animus doesn't not know that demons are bad. He knows that. He doesn't trust demons.
And she lives, but like she will not like compromise on that in any way. She's like, they're bad and can only lead to trouble, and I will not be involved. Yeah.
Animus knows demons are bad. He doesn't trust demons, and even though he's a warlock of the Baylor right now, he doesn't like the Baylor. They both kind of, I mean, I would assume the Baylor knows Animus doesn't want to be part of that, because that was just part of the whole deal. Animus is doing a job for him, and it's going to benefit both of them. And either Animus's plan is either to kill the Baylor off if it goes too far and save whatever souls that are currently trapped, because he has a spell that is allowing the bodies to live, or finish up the job, and then the Baylor hold up his end of the deal and end up getting killed in whatever war is going on anyway. So hopefully one of those things happens. I just know that Animus has been doing a lot of things to get to kind of just get enough power that he didn't think he had, and it hasn't always worked. I don't think the Baylor's the worst thing that's happened to the group, but it's definitely not something that he needs to be living with throughout this whole campaign. So eventually we'll try to get rid of him. Moving into something that I just want to finish off on. Power in the group. Power in D&D. The first chapter, we're running through Taldore. We're killing everything, right? We were like a lot of it was hard, and we've talked about this. We talked about this throughout a lot. It
was baby's first D&D. I was introducing you to the game, and
we were leveling up really fast. It was hard on both sides. We weren't throwing out our strongest stuff all the time. Jacob.
Yeah, we haven't leveled up in months.
Yeah,
now.
It's been a sec.
You guys haven't done a ton of fighting.
It was hard for Jacob to match us with how strong we were, because
it also sucks when you roll bad with your bosses.
Yeah, because we weren't doing like all that jazz. Second chapter, Jacob absolutely just coming out firing, showing us, wow, you guys are fucking bugs in this world. You can easily die. You can easily die. Just if
Jacob has fucked my shit up multiple times now, and I am like,
I think, and this is the part. So when we talked about earlier in the recap, Hunter was trying to buy an item that basically wanted to control someone's mind without a save, and tell them what to do. That is a godlike power.
God ability.
That is something I said.
Even gods can't do that usually.
Yeah.
Like, he should just build a fucking automaton or like something to like a golem or something, if that's what he wants so badly, to like just control something.
Yeah. It was one of those things, like, even in the game, I mentioned, like, 'cause Hunter's only ever played this campaign, so it's like, it's nothing against him. He's
right, but I've also only ever played this campaign.
Yeah, but you've also done a lot of outside
Fair
entertainment.
enough. That's true.
Because Because she's a nerd.
One thing that a lot of one thing that like we've talked about before, Hunter is playing this a little bit more as he's kind of our group's min-maxer / video gamer type style player, so he's gonna be trying to like just get the most powerful stuff. We have been very much low on power in the second chapter. I think he's asking for something because he doesn't want people to have to make a save against him. We've seen where a lot of us have failed in the second chapter.
He doesn't like the rule.
Yeah.
Like, well,
that
like,
you have to save against something.
He's essentially wanting a cheat code, which is fine. That's kind of what a deck of many things is, sort of. But you don't get to choose what it does.
I want the deck of many things.
It's a dangerous deck.
It's in the game.
I know, you told me.
There's actually 2 copies. There's 2 copies in the game.
Yeah, you told me you placed one somewhere, and now I'm like...
Jacob did say that to us off camera. He said he placed the deck of many things somewhere, and now we're thinking about it. So, Abby mostly, but...
Yeah, and it's like, I don't even know why I want it. I just think it would be fun.
Cool.
Fun chaos.
Imagine us find it, and Hunter just takes it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
actually do kind of want to do that, by the way. I want Anzu to find it.
Oh, you jerk.
I kind of want that.
Don't give him that. He
I don't
stole
wanna
my
give
cloak
it
of
to him.
displacement.
Yeah, you already stole items that were placed specifically for Abby before.
And you.
Yeah, me too. But I also...
He just takes everything, and I'm like, that's my biggest issue,
he
is
just
that, like...
takes it all. Fuck
like,
you, Hunter.
I
Get
love
out
him,
of here.
but, like, he does not consider that maybe...
He's not watching this, that's why.
Things are for... He's never gonna watch this. Love him, but he's just, like, never considers that maybe things are meant for other people sometimes.
Yeah. Even though Anzu's supposed to be our big professor guy starting a new college
he's
or
like
whatever.
A mentor figure.
Yeah, he's
to all
supposed
of
to be a
you.
mentor,
Yeah.
but he also has his own issues. Anzu is a power-hungry magic hoarder. He's addicted
He's
to
a
the
mad
power.
scientist, essentially.
Yeah, mad science, addicted to the power. Whether he knows that or not, that is what his character is. He is... I mean, he came off of being a drug addict at the very beginning of our chapter. Drugs. They weren't real drugs, but he was addicted to spices. And from...
Maybe they react with gnomes differently, you know?
Maybe. And from there has become kind of tried to get control back over his own life, and yeah. But overall, it's not just about how he's playing it or how Anzu wants to literally get a godlike power that is not really possible for D&D if you're playing it.
Right, or it's like level 12. Like, wait, like, it's still so early.
Yeah,
like
there's other spells that can do something very similar and have high saves if you build your character min-maxing them. So for if any of you guys are out there watching this, and you've got like those kind of requests in your game, just kind of think about, like, especially this early, like we're only level 12, like Abby just said, we're barely over the halfway mark of power in the game. Look at how powerful some of the 7, 8, 9 level spells are, and see, like, would that be a realistic thing to give someone? Is something that doesn't have a save. And we can even talk about, Jacob created a spell for me that doesn't have a save, kind of. Which was the Mist of the Screeching Soul, which was the original thing that the Baylor gave me to put a soul into, like, a soul stone and all that. But it had to be something that took over 3 turns to use. I couldn't get hit in the process, and all this other stuff that really makes it less powerful than just instantly working on someone. So just kind of look around. If you're ever building a spell or building a magical item, just like it will come back depending on what kind of game you're playing. If you make something too powerful, and I've done a lot of research on this because I'm really interested in concepts of, like, creating your own magical items and stuff. If you really wanted to, you could go into the research on 10th, 11th, and 12th level spells. There are in existence those spells, but they are only for gods, and they were only really used in the earlier editions of D&D. I believe
before the game had, like, constraints like that.
Yeah, well, even then, like, it was only god tier spells. 10th level spell was the highest someone could get. they were super powerful. 11th level is pretty much just insane, and there's only one 12th level spell that I know of in existence, and I forget what it is, but yeah, I mean, at that point, just wait till you get the spell Wish, or get a Wish Stone. If Hunter buys a Wish Stone,
I do think it would be really interesting to do a campaign where everyone's a god. I think that would be really interesting.
it would be
I
so
wouldn't
intense
even
to
know what to
set
do with
Well,
that.
so
up.
you're not like what I'm saying is like okay, so like
Like a lower deity type god, like a
more like
6th
you're
level.
like a young god who doesn't know how to like control their power completely. I think that'd be
Hercules?
Hercules. I was
Be
thinking like
demigod then?
Superman. Like no, more like Superman when he's like young and he's figuring out how to use his powers and he like
Oh, okay.
accidentally like
Oh.
throws a truck over the horizon and like
Okay.
stuff like that. I think that would be super interesting and like you're having to like it would be more of a role playing one because like society would be like dealing with it, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think that'd be interesting.
I think it would
I
be
might
too.
develop that.
Almost be like a lot of the TV shows that are out right now that have
Yeah, like The
superhero-
Boys
yeah,
or Jupiter's Legacy,
The Boys is a
or
good show.
Invincibles, or I think that's
Invincible,
what it's called.
the Injustice comic book line and video game series.
And then Umbrella Academy, like all those kind of
Mhm.
things.
It's definitely a theme that writers are exploring right now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. If you were going
Zach.
to do something like that, just like Jacob said, anyone ever wants to put something like that into your game, same concept. Just look at how powerful are the level. And I've said this before. Certain gods have certain levels. Lower deities are level 6 through 10. And
Maybe
then
not
it
like
goes
a
on.
god. Maybe it'd be like children of gods. I think that'd be kind of
like the
interesting.
like the
demigods.
child dragon, or the dragon. Child.
Well, that's a different.
It's a similar concept. It's a child that's trying to learn.
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, enjoy the rest of our story coming up within Vasselheim, because I think we're gonna try to start moving north.
You guys are probably going to be getting out of there next episode.
Yeah, maybe next episode, maybe in a couple of within the next couple weeks. I think we're gonna try to start moving north to get some stuff done.
I have places to go.
Yep.
People
Animas
say.
currently has the Aramente. Thea is going to look for a tribe or
Wood Elf Village.
that is in the forest up there, and kind of try to find some more information on the sickness that killed her mom and is currently killing a member in Amon that we have become acquaintances or friends with, depending on which member of the group you ask. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this week. We'll be back next week with another recap. Come check us out on Sunday nights. This Sunday we should have the full group back doing the full episode, and we will be getting into the first kind of part of this the 3-month deadline that we have. So we're going to be back as a group, getting stuff done, figuring out what's our first steps. But that should be exciting. If you can't make it, come watch the recap next week and you'll have similar faces. Thank you guys again for watching. See you guys next week.